In this tutorial, I will teach you how to set some preferences for Photoshop which may not necessarily be correct or the way we use it by default. So preferences are certain details of how Photoshop works. And you can find them in the edit menu at the very bottom over here, and you just click general, and these are the preferences, all different things that you can tell Photoshop how you want it to behave. In Mac you can find it at the very top next to the Photoshop tab. There is this access to preferences. Now most preferences are set by default the way we need it, so I don't want to go into that so much, but there are certain things that will be nice to have. One thing is that you set the units correctly. Now by default probably you will have the unit set for picas, which is a rather exotic traditional old measurement unit, and you can set it to pixels or inches or centimeters or millimeters. We will work with millimeters, so please do that. All the rest is correct here by default. Next thing is about scratch discs. Now as you see, I have my C and D scratch discs enabled. Now what are scratch discs? Photoshop needs a lot of space to process files, and usually while processing the computer is using the random access memory, the RAM. But for Photoshop this sometimes isn't enough, so what Photoshop does is that it takes some space on your hard disk on C and D and uses it temporarily for processing the large files. And then after you close Photoshop, this information is deleted, the temporary information is deleted. Now I have both C and D disks enabled. If I uncheck C, then this means I only permit Photoshop to use my D disk for creating scratch disks. And this means if I have, by accident, I have little space or not enough space on D, this will slow down the performance of Photoshop. So what I advise you to do is to enable all disks that you have on your computer. Just check them all for scratch disks. And one more thing is the cursors. It is how you show the cursor while using different tools. And here for painting cursors, I use the normal brush tip. This shows you the size of the brush, and it's very convenient. You can see how big the brush is while you're working. So set this to normal brush tip. And the others just leave as it is. Just leave them standard. Okay, so that's all. So set these preferences, and yeah, one more thing. When you set these preferences while no file is open, this will work for Photoshop in general. When you open Photoshop, the preferences will be set this way. If you set preferences while a file is open, then these preferences will work only for this file. So please make sure you have no file opened and set preferences, and then close them, and then close Photoshop, and then the preferences will be the way you need. That's it.